My name is Kathy Horwitz, and this is our webinar on exploring the top 10 essential functions in Excel, at least the top 10 according to me, the ones that I think are most important for us to know. We're going to talk about some statistical functions like sum and average, max, min, and count. We'll look at the logical function if, and we'll get into VLOOKUP, which is part of the lookup functions group. We'll talk about calculating with dates and times, and we'll learn functions like today and now. And then we'll delve into some of our text functions, left, right, concat, and trim. During today's webinar, I'll be using Excel 365 Desktop. If you have a prior version of Excel, and if anything is different, I'll be sure to let you know. Also, you either have received or will be receiving two files. I'd like to point those out to you. One is a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that I'm working with right now. And that presentation contains all the tools, functions, formulas, and syntax that we'll be working with. There's also an Excel file called Top 10 Functions, and that's the file that I'll be demonstrating the features in today. If you'd like to open that file and practice along with me, I invite you to do so. Everybody learns differently, however. So if you just want to sit back and watch and take notes and absorb the material, that's fine. And if you'd like to open up the file, I have mine opened up on the screen right now. You'll note that there are multiple tabs across the bottom, and we'll be working with all of those tabs as we go through today's workshop. So all in all, we're probably going to look at more than 10 functions, but many of them work in the same way. It's important that we understand the basic functions. And not knowing where all of you are in your education of formulas and functions, I want to go back and do what may be a little bit of review for some of you, but certainly to bring everybody up to the same speed. Ultimately, from this beginning exercise, we have to learn or be reminded of the difference between a relative cell reference and an absolute cell reference. Because going forward with our additional functions, that is going to be extremely important. So let's start by going over some of the rules for formulas. First of all, formulas always begin with an equal sign. That's how Excel knows you're calculating. There are no spaces in formulas, and we use the following mathematical operators. Plus and minus, of course, for addition and subtraction. We use the asterisk for multiplication and the / for division. The uppercase of your number 5 key is the percent symbol. Whether you type 3% or 0.03 makes no difference. Mathematically, they mean the same thing. And finally, the uppercase of your number 6 key has what looks like a little upside down V on it. And that's called a caret symbol. And it is used to calculate exponents. So for example, 4 to the 3rd power, which would be 4 times 4 times 4, would be shown as 4 to the power of 3, with the caret symbol meaning to the power of. We also have to be aware of the mathematical order of operations. So if we look at a simple equation like 2 plus 4 times 6, some people would tell me the answer is 36, going from left to right. 2 plus 4 is 6, times 6 is 36. Others of you may say, no, the answer is 26. Well, it certainly can't be both. And actually, the correct answer is 26. And that's because we follow the mathematical order of operations. First and foremost, anything in parentheses happens first, followed by anything calculating exponentially. And then we multiply and divide. And we multiply and divide before we do any addition or subtraction. This is used in Excel, but it's not Excel specific. This is arithmetic. So based on that, 4 times 6 would be calculated first. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2, and the answer would be 26. We're going to be working with functions today. and all functions follow the same syntax. They are formulas, so they begin with an equal sign, followed by the name of the function, and that's followed by what are called the arguments in parentheses. And the arguments are the cells to be calculated. So the bottom two lines on my screen do exactly the same thing. If I wanted to add up the content of cells A1, A2, A3, all the way to A80, typing A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus would take a lot of time. Or I could say equal sign sum. And the function named sum inherently knows to add together the cells in the arguments. And it says sum together the values in cells A1 through A80 with the colon meaning through. Here are some of the basic statistical functions that you're going to use regardless of what line of work you're in or the kind of worksheets that you're working with. First of all, sum, of course, adds the values in the range. The average function, I think that one's self-explanatory too. The function called max looks for the highest value in a range of cells, where min looks for the smallest value in a range of cells. Count counts how many cells contain numbers only. Count A counts how many cells are not empty. In other words, they could have anything in them. Think of the A for anything or alphanumeric, numbers and text. Let's try some of these statistical functions. So in my worksheet on the first tab, we have just a handful of sales employees and their sales for first quarter. And we want to calculate their total for January.